and welcome the new 2025 draftees. We've also added on 19 UDFAs, but there's also still some NFL free agents out there on the market. So let's talk about that here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I have 4 free agent targets that myself and the future host of Patriots Today by Chat Sports, Brett Alper, are going to discuss right here on today's show. But please be sure to support the channel if you guys haven't already. We have 25,679 subscribers. We are less than 400 away from reaching a monumental 26K. Be sure to hit that sub button for me because this is the time to be subscribed to everything and all things New England Patriots. All right, obviously the top free agent still on the market here, Raekwon Davis, the defensive tackle. You know, not a big play stopper, not a huge name in terms of NFL players, but he is a plug-and-play guy. He's got a lot of experience in the NFL. He's typically on the younger side of defensive tackles, and you know what? We need depth. And we especially need depth at the nose tackle position. Look, I think Christian Barmore is a fantastic player, and I do hope he's recovering very well from his blood clots, but you need to have some injury insurance. And a guy like Raekwon Davis, he's going to turn 28 years old in June, which is not bad for a free agent target. Can definitely still try and get the most out of him. And I really like this asset here. He was injury-free during 2024. He played all 17 games. I mean, we didn't see a twisted ankle. We didn't see a hurt wrist. Completely injury-free. But he does have a little under 2,400 snaps during his 5-year career. So clearly the teams he did play for haven't really relied on him too much. But in 2024, 15 tackles, 0 sacks, 3.5 stuffs, and 1 pass deflected. So this is not a showstopper at all. In fact, his stats barely even make a presence on the final box score. But this is a depth piece, and that is why I do think it would be a good signing that's very cheap and just adds a little extra protection behind Christian Barmore. Now, we did sign Khyiris Tonga in free agency as well. When you look at his PFF grades overall, he's better at a pass rush, obviously, than he is the run defender. But I mean, this is crap. It really is. And once again, we did great in the draft. We did phenomenal in the first round of free agency. But now you're starting to really build up that 53-man depth chart with depth pieces. And possibly signing him, seeing how he does in training camp, and then maybe pushing him to the side of the practice squad later on. But let's go ahead and bring in the new host, Patriots Today by Chat Sports. That is Brett Alper. A lot of you guys have asked in the comments section, where's Allie going? I accepted a new position just on my own personal career advancement. I've loved my time here at Chat Sports. I have loved talking to you guys about the Patriots, but honestly, it doesn't get much better than Brett Alper. He knows everything through and through about the Patriots. I know you guys are going to be in good hands. For example here, I think that Raekwon Davis could be a backup option for a nose tackle. Alper, agree, disagree? How do we feel?
I agree, and it's only because you don't know if Christian Barmore is going to be fully healthy or what's going to happen with him coming 2025. If he's fully healthy and you know, like, the blood clots aren't going to be a problem, there is no need to sign him. You just drafted Josh Farmer in the 4th round, so you have a little bit of depth piece. You signed Khyiris Tonga, who really isn't that great of a player, but it all depends on if Barmore is going to be healthy. That's the key here.
Right.
So you could sign him, and you could later cut him once training camp starts, once preseason starts, because by that time you'll probably know if Barmore is going to miss time or he's going to be fully ready for the 2025 season.
Right, because you have to think last year he got diagnosed on his 25th birthday in June, so that knocked out training camps, OTAs, everything for a guy like Barmore, and you've seen the latest report that he's working out, he's in the building, he's got energy, he's got positivity. But blood clots, unfortunately, have a mind of their own. So this is just to give a little extra injury insurance for Barmore. Clearly, he is not going to be a starter. But you heard from Alper, you heard from I. Now, name a free agent you guys want the Patriots to sign in the comment section down below. I mean, we already absolutely dominated once free agency opened up. But there are still a couple of guys that are left on the market. So go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below if you guys haven't already. Now, here's a surprising name that is still a free agent, Darius Smith. He obviously was a workhorse in 2024. He played for 2 separate teams, more recently playing for the Detroit Lions. I do think that Darius Smith brings a little bit of a veteran presence to your locker room, which I think Mike Vrabel would be pretty interested in. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He will turn 33 years old in season, but we've got some older guys on the roster this year. There's no secret about that. And obviously, experience is in his back pocket. He's played over 7,000 snaps in his 11-year career. Now, he split time between the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions in 2024, and obviously they had a top defense in terms of the front four, so that's why I think he could be a good option for a defensive end. As you guys can see here, 9 sacks. He would have been the leading sack leader, I guess, for the Patriots defense in 2024 if he had played for us. 1 pass deflected, 6.5 stuffs, and 35 total tackles. Definitely a little bit more up there in the age, and I do know that we did address the edge position with guys like Braden Swinson and Harold Landry and Keon White still. So we have, Alper, touched on it in free agency and in the draft already, but a guy like Za'Darius Smith, if they do end up swooping him up, I would think it's going to come in the next couple of months. I think it's going to be a little later down the road, and I think it'd be a 1-year deal. I think it would just be give us some veteran experience, maybe play for your money, play for an extra contract, but it would definitely give a lot of experience to a kind of younger edge room, in my opinion.
I'm not going to complain about signing pass rushers. You could have a million pass rushers, and I'm not going to complain. I still can't believe Za'Darius Smith hasn't been signed. I mean,
that's what I thought.
Especially the Patriots were bottom 3, bottom 2 in the league in sacks last season. That needs to be a main priority. You need to get to the quarterback. And a guy who had 9 sacks, only 33 years old, you still have a lot left in the tank if you're Za'Darius Smith. And to go play for a guy like Mike Vrabel, I think would help. Teaching a bunch of players and playing alongside Harold Landry, I think would benefit Za'Darius Smith a lot. So I would not complain about this signing whatsoever.
You also have to realize that he just came from the Lions. That's where Terrell Williams came from, our new defensive coordinator. He was a defensive line coach in Detroit. And if I had to compare Vrabel to any other head coach, I would compare him to Dan Campbell. They're both former players. They both like to practice and play with their guys on the field and make sure that they are seeing eye level where mistakes are, where success is coming from. So I think Za'Darius Smith would be pretty open to playing for a guy like Mike Vrabel because he came from Campbell's system and he came from working with Terrell Williams, but this is not going to be a 3-year deal. We already signed 47-year-old Morgan Moses to a 10-year deal, which I thought was a little crazy. I'm obviously over-exaggerating, but I think a 1-year deal, if they decide to sign him, wouldn't hurt anybody.
It's not going to hurt at all. You're probably going to get him at good value, too, because he still hasn't been signed, so he's going to take any type of money that he can get at this point. I think you could get good value with Za'Darius Smith.
Let's talk about the secondary here. Yes, we're rolling with another defensive player, Justin Simmons. Also pretty surprised that Simmons is still a free agent. And you also have to think with our safety room and with the recent cuts that Mike Vrabel has made, Simmons could be a target to kind of bulk up that safety room, which they did in the draft with Craig Woodson, but you still also have Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers. So a little bit here about Simmons. He'll turn 32 years old in September, so clearly on the back half of his career in terms of a secondary guy. 2-time Pro Bowler, 8,100 career snaps in 9 years playing in the NFL. Most recently played for the Falcons. I like Simmons' game. I think he would be a good complement to a guy like Duggar, who's a headhunter. But I do think if he is on the team, I think either Duggar or Peppers won't be there. That is the only reason why they would sign a guy like Simmons, because we have a pretty young safety depth chart, but you also could use some more experience, I guess, because Peppers had some off-field issues. We're not sure if that'll ever come up again. And then Kyle Duggar had off-season surgery, so you have to make sure that he is good to go as well. But we relied on the young guys a lot last year, and Jalen Hawkins, Marte Mapu, Del Pettis. So it'll be intriguing to see if they would add another veteran like Simmons. 36 solo tackles, 7 passes deflected, 2 interceptions. Barmore had 2 interceptions last year at the cornerback position. So I think that Justin Simmons would be electric as a safety, but I just don't think that this is the system for him just yet if we have Peppers and Duggar as well, because you still have Woodson. I like Jalen Hawkins. I liked Marte Mapu. I thought they were headhunters last year as well.
You also signed Marcus Epps.
You signed Marcus Epps as well. I completely forgot about Marcus Epps. Yes, thank you. So we've already kind of touched on the safety position, which is why I think we'll probably end up passing on a guy like Simmons, but he's a great player. There is no argument that he would be electric on the field. That's 100% true. But does he fit in this system right now, Alper?
I think there's just not enough spots for
Too
him
many
on
cooks
this
in the
roster.
kitchen.
Like you said, if you're not going to have Peppers there, Kyle Duggar is here. If he's healthy, he's going to start. I don't think you start
Absolutely.
Justin Simmons over him. I just don't see, especially with signing Marcus Epps, I don't see a spot for him on this roster. I mean, if you want to replace Marte Mapu, I'm fine with that. But
Right.
does Justin Simmons really want to be third on the depth chart?
And that's the thing, is that you've already got Peppers, who was a captain, got stripped of his captain responsibilities. They gave it to Duggar. Duggar was injured towards the end of the season, but you know what? Everybody was in the Patriots roster. So
Yeah.
I just think there's one too many veterans in that room alone, which is why Simmons, not arguing he's a good player, but maybe it's just not time to sign him just yet. But we do have one more free agent target that I think you guys might be interested in. But before we do that, be sure to hit that sub button for me on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I promise you're going to be satisfied with Brett Alper's takes on the New England Patriots. A guy is through and through New England football. He knows what he's talking about. Be sure to hit that sub button for me. And be sure to check out Will Campbell jerseys are live now. No, he will not be wearing number 1 as a left tackle. This is what they do for all rookies until they declare their number. So if you purchase a Will Campbell jersey today, they will send you the right jersey with his correct number once he establishes himself in the NFL. Chatsports.com/Will Campbell. That'll get you guys these new threads. I'll also put the link to this jersey in the comment section down below. Click that link. It'll take you right there. We've done this video so many times before. Stephon Gilmore, should we sign him? Should we not sign him? Do we bring him back to New England? Yes, he is still a free agent. I talked to Vikings Today host Patrick Seatman. Hey, are you going to re-sign Stephon Gilmore? He said, you know what? I feel like if the Vikings do, it'll be an August pickup. I'm really not worried about it right now. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's going to be 35 years old in September, the once defensive player of the year in New England. He recently played with the Minnesota Vikings after he had 1 year stint with the Dallas Cowboys. But as you guys know, he played for New England, and he absolutely dominated when he did play for New England. But that was a long time ago. And what he did last year kind of proves that. Yes, 9 passes deflected. Obviously, the old man can still get up there. He's still great in man coverage, still plays tight defense. Only 1 interception, but it was a very timely interception for the Vikings. 56 total tackles, and it really sucks because when you look at a guy like Stephon Gilmore, he could obviously still be a good depth piece. And if this was May in 2024, I am all in on signing Stefon Gilmore. But it's not. It's May 2025, and we just recently picked up Carlton Davis. We recently picked up several draftees, UDFAs, that are also in that cornerback position. Plus, you have Alex Austin, who I liked a lot last year. He's still young. Christian Gonzalez. I don't think you need Stephon Gilmore either, Alper.
No, you do not sign Stephon Gilmore. His time has come and gone. I know he was the best cornerback in the league when he played for New England back in 2018, 19, 17.
We were all better people back in 2018.
It's just too long. You have Christian Gonzalez, who's arguably one of the best corners in football. You signed Carlton Davis. I mean, if you want to bring him in with Marcus Jones, that's fine, but overall, I'm good. He's run his time. He's 35. He's going to be 35 years old.
Yeah, it would just be another depth piece. And the cornerback room is also one of those things where, does Gilmore want to be cornerback number 4? Does he want to be just a locker room guy? You know, he's never worked with Vrabel. This is a completely new system in New England. I'm always on board for depth pieces. Do not get me wrong, especially guys that know Foxborough and they know the system inside and out. But like I just said, this is a new system. Bill Belichick's not here anymore. So I think, depth piece, sure. But is it Stephon Gilmore? I would probably rather see what a UDFA has in store, possibly maybe even one of our draftees, and see if they can fit in there. But I'll ask you guys here. Alper and I are both on the no train. I would rather just keep good memories of Gilmore in New England rather than watch him play and realize that he looks 35 years old and kind of taint that memory for me. So let me know what you guys think. Bring back Stephon Gilmore. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know in the comment section down below. And like I said, if you guys haven't already, be sure to hit that sub button for me. This is the time to be subscribed to Patriots Today by Chat Sports. So all you guys have to do is hit that button.